So one of these days I'm going to have to price a gun locker because my uncle has told me that my great grandfather's World War I rifle. It's time to claim it for my house, or he claims it for his. Because right now he's holding it while the kids were younger.
What kind of rifle is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's been years since I've handled it. It was a trench shotgun that he carried in World War I. But I don't. I mean, it's not got a maker's mark on it that's anything I recognize. But he actually left the States and joined up with a British unit because he entered the war before we did, because they did. So it was something that was issued to him through the United Kingdom, and he just kept it. Oops.
It's a Springfield 1911. It looks like.
Ooh.
I can't see the model number.
Can you share your screen? There you go. Yep.
No, wrong one.
Nope, that's still the shotgun.
That's glorious.
That's badass.
All right.
I might need a moment in my bunk.
And that's the 1911.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Nice interchangeable grips too. That's pretty dope. Love it.
I hate him. I want it.
Are you? When we get to the insider portion, start investigating who, the what, the why is Uplifted Bubba. Are you old enough to own a firearm?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But feature channel, I would say squad support and workout bay. We've been helping out a couple people in the squad support. They've been dealing with some tough times, quarantine or other stuff, and been chatting with them about that and help them with that. We got other people that are
it's a Nerf Gatling gun. Don't judge.
Is that you in there?
Hell no. No, I wouldn't have pants on. Don't even start.
It looks like that person.
It's a tactic kill. It's a tactic kill.
The G.I. Joe reboot or whatever is what it looks like. One of the Cobras.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Time for pants.
But yeah, and then the workout bay, we've got a couple people that are doing workouts and making other people, feel shameful at the how these other people are doing like these massive workouts, and then it's like, man, you're savage.
Right?
Has Michelle Meyer ever jumped in to do her workout stuff?
She hasn't yet. I poked her, I think, a week or two ago, and I was like, hey, how about that workout thing? And she's like, right now I'm recommending hot yoga if you want to lose weight really fast. It's like,
what are you trying to say? Dear
hot
Lord.
yoga is just where they do yoga in a really closed room with
sauna.
Yeah.
Sauna, okay. They did that when I wrestled in school. They did that for working.
It's wrestling.
It's wrestling.
Yeah, I of course, typical New Year's resolution type stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna work out more because I had a job for a while that was middle of the night, so all I did was sit there for 8 hours, multiple days a week, and then I'm like, okay, fine. When my birthday comes, I'll start working out more. Well, my birthday is early March, and yeah.
Great timing.
Yep.
You know what that means? You can start right now. Just start pushing the floor. Go for it. We'll wait.
He says, "Beat your face." Oh.
He's like, look, I just got my headset working, so I can't move more than 3 inches in either direction.
Pretty much. Yeah. I used to be able to do like push-ups really well, but not recently. It's been like now about 7 years since I was in Air Force ROTC. So then, I think my greatest 1.5 miles was 11 flat, which is not amazing, but for me, really dang good.
That's really good. Yeah.
I think my miles when I would run a mile was something like 15 minutes.
So Walt, let me.
Basically, I went from in high school, I was happy to get 10-minute mile. If that, I was usually around 11-minute full mile in high school to within a few months, I got to 8-minute flat single mile. So,
what's this?
Oh, this is people doing CrossFit.
Oh, okay.
So if Klein needs some motivation, just do push-ups.
No, I don't. I'd rather not join a cult. then again, I'm the one who's
You're in Galaxy's Edge.
You're
I
in a
mean,
cult too late.
That's different.
Not
okay?
even
We're not
Galaxy's
a cult.
Edge. I still have the NetherOps tag in Discord because, yeah, that's just who I am. Secretive shit.
So yeah. Speaking of Discord and stuff like that, Basher, why don't you hit him with the typical questions? Because Klein is our featured insider for the week.
Right on.
Walt never answered my question.
What's the question?
So as vet bros now, we've officially been out for a couple weeks. How many minutes can we subtract from our best time without breaking the space-time continuum?
Yeah, but
So,
the thing is, now it's... Go ahead.
If my best time was we'll say 14 and a half for my 2 miles, which wasn't stellar, running was never my thing, can I make that 11 now that I've been out for a while?
No. No. But here's the thing that either might benefit you or curse you. So the APFT is no more. You can say
Wait,
goodbye.
what?
Yeah.
I thought they went back to it.
2 years ago, they had a pilot program, and they've been slowly implementing it and slowly revising it. So now what they have is the combat fitness tests and the PRT, which is the physical readiness test. And what they're doing is they're doing away with just push-up, sit-ups, and 2 mile run, and they're going to all these different events. So, but they're trying to revise it, and right now they went back to the regular APFT, but they're trying to revise it because I guess it just takes too much damn space to actually conduct the test.
Yeah,
and nobody has the space for it. It's just crazy. But yeah, you just if you're feeling inadequate, just drop and do a push up. You'll be fine. So that being the case, usually every podcast we try to feature an insider, somebody who is part of the Galaxy's Edge Insider group, figure out who they are, what makes them tick, and where is the mental instability that might make it stick. And today it's Klein. Klein, who are you, and what's on your wanted poster?
Hold on. I guess.
Go ahead, do a push up. Wait.
You horrible man.
Seriously, brother, what's on your wanted poster?
All right, 25, white as fuck. I'm into hockey. I'm into Mustangs, stuff like that.
Are you from Minnesota?
Nope. I'm from Texas, of all places.
Hey, I'm from the Midwest too, man.
But Texas Midwest, what?
Yeah, Texas and the Midwest based on time zone.
Oh,
That's
time
okay.
zone, I guess. But
That
no,
being said,
and I'm actually wearing a Stars shirt, which they just won their last series against Calgary, which is basically the Texas of Canada. So the better Texas won.
oh my
but they have maple syrup.
But yeah, the other thing, I don't own any guns of my own, but I've got a way in the back of my room from this angle. I've got a Union cavalry saber that belonged to I don't remember exactly, great uncle or something.
Right on. You ever swing it at something and pray it didn't break?
No, I've swung it some. I mean, I'm not going to claim to be trained in sword fighting, but I was one of 10, maybe 10 students at my high school way back in the day that was actually trained in sword combat. So.
Oh, really? What, were they fencing?
No, it was really large, iron dulled swords. So
they were
that
doing
stuff,
stuff like HEMA.
Yeah.
sort of, not exactly, but sort of. It was basically, let me put it this way: if it hit you, it hurt a lot. So it was just my general thing to not get hit by it.
Right on.
I think the closest it came from me was clipping my shoe on sweeps.
That would suck.
But yeah.
Right on. How'd you get into GE?
I love sci-fi and I love military sci-fi. So when I started getting to Audible, GE was just kind of a natural step, I guess.
Sorry, I'm trying to tangle myself from a freaking Wombunky. And have you read the whole series?
Nope, unfortunately not.
What have you read up to?
I've got a few books that I've like partially read, like Dark Operators 1. I I've basically finished the first Savage Wars book.
So good.
Yeah. It's basically stuff like that. What I mean when I say like I've basically read it, like I'll use GE and other audiobooks a lot to like help me get to sleep, which is great until I wake up like 3 hours later and have no idea where I am.
And it's still playing.
I'm just like, oh.
So my question is, have you listened to most of or all of season 1?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you got the core series down.
Yes.
And then you're just working on the side series stuff now, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that.
Good thought.
Good thought.
Yeah, the main series is just like it's like if you're listening to it. I was just mentioning a little while ago that I'm on my third read through the series, but this time I'm listening to it versus reading it, and I'm catching a lot of stuff I didn't catch before, like little things, little things with Keel and little like hints from that start at Legionnaire and show up again in other books, and you're like, oh wow, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, I will say, like when I was first getting into it, it was really off-putting for me going from like the very first book, like since at least with the first season, like on Audible, the books are put together.
Yeah,
it was very, very, very off-putting to go from like Kublar to the Indelible Six. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm I got this book because I wanted military sci-fi. What is this?
See, I got caught off guard in a similar way. I was driving down the road from work, and it's like prologue. And I'm like, this is a pretty long prologue. Not sure how it links to the rest of the book, but all right. And then finally, like 30 minutes later, I pull over and I check my phone. I'm like, holy crap! It's got like a whole nother book.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I listened through all of Legionnaire, and then it said epilogue went through all of Exo's story, and then it said prologue Galactic Outlaws. I'm like, what is this? And I listened to a little bit of it, and the point of view was different. All this other stuff. I was like, I'm out.
Oh no, you were.
And I went, I'm out because I don't know what's going on anymore. There's a time skip.
This close to just stopping now, then, and like being like, "Hey, Audible, I want my credit back."
And then I went on to audiobook 2, and it had Kill Team. And then after that, they had and they opened up in such a way. I was like, oh crap, I missed vital information.
Yeah, I gotta tell you though. Listening to Kill Team versus reading it, it's like your name is Tom, and it's like, and every time he said that, it like the shit had hit the fan even worse, So you're just like, damn.
Oh boy,
they found a way to make a second person narrative,
right, and do it well.
Yeah.
Scotty Lavery saying you got to listen halfway through part 1, then first part of part 2, then back to the second section of part 1, then second section of part 2.
Yeah, basically.
Bro, you need to draw a map. So hit us up. We'll post it.
It has to be the picture from where it's got the Charlie Day, and he's just like all the pins and
So they actually have on the galaxiesedge.us website the timeline that has like the action-packed timeline, the chronological timeline, and it's like the era timeline. It breaks it all down.
I actually had to do that for my parents so they could listen to it, and I sent them an order that I felt like they should listen to it in, and they get distracted with other stuff. but they've gotten through book 1, Requiem for Medusa, book 2, and that's it.
I was wondering where I wanted the timeline where it was the no pants read through.
That's probably
that's called
next
KTF
month's
me.
special edition.
That's KTF me. Yeah, this is an example of what some people wanted the reading order to be, and it's like, bro, well, wait a minute.
It's very fitting.
But yeah, I went through with the I read them as they were coming out, and I became an insider, I think, after the second book, which is the end of book 1 if you're listening audio. So I was getting all the betas, and it was just like it was really neat to see as it was coming out, like the beta edition versus the alpha, the finished piece, and then having stuff like Imperator come out between this book and this book, and you were like, and you just got a whole new appreciation for the storyline. And somebody recently on the Galaxy's Edge fan club was asking about a reading order, and a couple of people had said, "Wait a minute, so you didn't read any of the side books that go with this?" And the person hadn't, and so they'd started getting into after Attack of Shadows, Goth Sullus, his abilities, what he's capable of, and why, but they hadn't read Imperator. So it was like, yeah, you're missing out on a whole new level there, bro.
See, I just went with the release order because I was picking up books after I, had caught up. I'm just like, okay, this next one, cool, don't care, listening.
Yeah, I was the same way. I found the first one, listened to it, went through the second one, listened to it, and got through like maybe the third whole collection. And then there was the first Order Centurion, then the second Order Centurion, and then we had Collection 4. Then there was another Order Centurion. Then there was Imperator. Then there was the final one, and then there was another one and another one. And I was like, I have listened to these way out of order.
Oh darn!
That is actually a fitting description of it.
Oh. Yeah, Scott Lavery's Imperator's Black Hawk Down meets Event Horizon.
He's always got the good one-liners.
It has that feel. Yeah.
We're gonna have that boy on the show.
Hell yeah! I especially like his avatar. He's got the
Tree of Life
sword
with an iron sword. Yeah,
I think it's the sword from Lord of the Rings, though.
Yeah, that's a full-on symbol for
what is it called?
Gondor.
Yeah.
The sword.
I got nothing. Somebody's gonna pull my nerd card. It's fine. But yeah, getting back to our featured insider, what was your favorite book so far?
For slightly different reasons. Either Requiem for Medusa. Like, I never expected feels from a Galaxy's Edge book, but yeah, if you've read or listened to that, you know. Or Into the Nether. I also loved. Like, I really want more of that series, really, really bad. And the third one, which I would say is more honorable mention, but I did also love Reservist, and I told JR this like when I first listened to it. It's like I love the book itself, but the narrator, it took me a few hours to get into, only because I had listened to him in a previous series.
Yeah, the Lost Fleet.
That previous series, it's like the main character is this samurai. It's like, I think the word is isekai for Japanese, like, like stuck inside like a game world or whatever. And the main character is the whiniest bitch ever. It's like, dude, why? Just get on with it, please. And
so, like, bitch, he's not samurai.
Yeah, it's like, okay, going through Reservist, like, I couldn't get that out of my head for the longest time. It's like, this sucks.
I'll have to check that out. The one I was thinking about was the Lost Fleet series by John Henry.
No, it's not Lost Fleet. I think it was just like Bushido Online, I think was the series. I mean, the series itself, I liked the writing well enough. Like, the story was I mean, not amazing, but decent. It was good enough. Had what I wanted overall, but then and it wasn't exactly the narrator's fault either. But the main character was just like, "Why are you so whiny, dude?"
Who is your favorite character in the series so far?
It's between I would say Wraith and Tyrus Rex.
Right on. What do you like about Wraith?
I mean, KTF, he's more like, first of all, which is the most important thing. But also I love world in universes such as Galaxy's Edge, and like I had mentioned earlier, I still have the Nether Ops tag even and being an insider now. I love gray area type stuff because he's not. I mean, he's not bad, but there's
anti-hero.
Yeah, he's definitely not bad, a bad guy, but he does what he needs to do. I think there was the thing the 3 Legion officers at one point in one of the books, and others are judge, and I think it's Chun was judging him for it, and he's like, okay, I did what I had to do.
Right on. If you had a favorite secondary character, who would that be?
Probably 20s. I mean, like I said, my
20s.
Klein, the Shadowrun character is a sniper. I love that idea. Not necessarily sniping per se, but the whole designated marksman type thing. Right, I love that.
And they did a really good job of making it interesting because you talk to guys who are long distance riflemen, designated marksmen, precision long range riflemen. They will tell you that it's one of the most boring jobs in the Army until you have to work, because you could sit there for long periods of time not moving. You got to pee in bottles. You just oh, this sucks. And then something happens, and it's just like anything else in the military. You get your really intense 30 seconds, and then followed by long ranges of boredom.
Yep, hurry up and wait. I know that quite well. I mean, I never my grades were shit in ROTC, and that's why I'm not Air Force now. My goal initially had been specifically a buff pilot, B-52. But it was my grades were absolute shit. But I mean, I know the hurry up and wait type thing. And also speaking of that, there was one time specifically I remember the lieutenant colonel, so in charge of the detachment. Here I am walking up to something, and I hear him say, I see him close the door, and I hear him say, anyone outside of this room, cannot go anymore, because they're late. And I'm like, oh, fuck. But the good news was there had been an upperclassman that had told me to fix my hair, because I'll be honest, I think I had just gone out of bed. And here I was in a room about to go. I think it was driving up to College Station to listen to the chief of staff of the Air Force speak. So
JR, how would you have handled that? Would you have pulled that trooper aside and given him an impromptu barbershop right there?
In the Army, we kept it simple. Everybody buzzed their hair.
Yeah, no, it was, my hair was still short. It was, I think at this point, it was just on the longer end. I got a haircut at least once a month, and it was high and tight, of course, because Air Force.
We actually we were doing our pre-deployment for the first one, and they had us going through, I think it was like a Ponderosa or something. They had us eating at the same dang restaurant, 3 meals a day. It was horrible. We learned to hate their food. And we had partied a little bit too much to celebrate our pending war deployment. So let's just say I was a little rough in the morning and I hadn't shaved. And the first sergeant was like, I'm not going to have any corporal of mine not shaved. So there's a barber. It was an old-timey barber too. And he did the straight razor. Scariest time of my life, bar none, even with 2 combat deployments, was sitting there and letting a man take a straight razor to my face.
I got to tell you, man, that's not where I thought that was going to go. I thought I thought he was going to cut you right there in the Ponderosa.
I mean, he might have. Luckily, I took his advice and went and got the face cut. But yes, I could sympathize with the rough mornings.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we had a couple. Walt's so hardcore. He'd just take out his kukri and like shaved his own skin, and it'd have been like a thing. And then the first sergeant would have been afraid and be like, "Okay, bro, you got this."
Jesse Ventura for Predator, is that you?
Dude, there was one time I legitimately I didn't know what to be for Halloween, so I just got a bunch of camo. Like this was like the phase of my life. I would dress in all camo, like non-ironically, and I got had a camo headband at the time too. I'm like, I'm Jesse. Look at me. I didn't have a costume, so it's like, sure, I'm Jesse. Whatever.
Did you use any of the lines?
I don't think I did. Nowadays, I would do that, but
because I mean, if you walk into a room with just army fatigues on the bottom, no shirt, and then a headband, and walk in and just say shit like, "I'm a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus,"
I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna garner some attention.
Yeah.
But.
And here, I tried to keep it clean because you lectured me about our public face, and then you go with the sexual tyrannosquid.
It's not my fault that sexual tyrannosquid works better on me than it does on you, bro. So you're just gonna have to hold on and hope. Yeah, that's fun.
Next time I'm talking about Space Tijuana.
Hey, we do not talk about Space Tijuana. There is nothing scarier than being the only sober dude in that jail, right? And having that CO walk through and go, "Weren't you supposed to watch them?"
Why haven't we had, a part of a book with a bunch of Leeges getting caught on a bender and just waking up in a brig somewhere,
So this is a perfect blunt force segue, Walt, for us to talk about the Dragon Award finalists and what the prize might be should we do our due diligence and serve and honor our co-emperors and vote them into victory.
Oh, yeah, you ain't lying. So
here's
chill.
Well, Shill would be reminding people that if they go to www.inthelegion.com, they can join the newsletter and get all the latest information, or they could go to galaxiesedge.us and buy all the latest merch. Daniel-san.
or hey, get it right. I say that they need to go to the shop and buy an insider subscription, not go to the sign up for the E-list. Because I mean, if they go get the subscription, they automatically get on the E-list. So I'm actually a better shill than you.
I'm gonna die.
If you vote Jason and Nick across the finish line, they have said they will do a poll, and the fan voted winner of what the fans want them to write will win. And so you could get KTF me, you could get Hogus and Skriz, you could get Masters Goes to the Brig. I mean, you could get that if you just get and click the button and vote.
So yeah, they did say the other day on several podcasts that if they win, they're going to put up a poll and give several different.
It's going to go around.
Yep, and they're going to put up a poll, and whatever the top 3 things that the fans want them to write next, that's what they're going to hit. So everybody knows the right answer is season 2, book 2. So just let's get them over the line.
KTF me. Sorry.
Savage Wars Part 4.
This is the public one. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh, what do we got? We got an officer saber. Yep. You're muted or something. Say something loud.
See, that's what you get for walking away.
All right, now. Carefully resheath the sword and now do push-ups.
So Bradley Houghton, Brad, our boy Brad says KTF me narrated by Walt Robillard.
Damn straight. Do you imagine that? Sexual tyrannosquid. All right.
Well, that would be why it was muted. My inline was muted for some reason.
You cut it, didn't you?
Not quite.
So getting back to the Dragon Awards. So the Dragon Awards are a fan award, and that's why it's kind of important, because this wasn't a bunch of stuffy old dudes sitting in the back going, "Well, it didn't measure up to Heinlein." These are actually the fans who voted these books forward. A panel got together and said, "Yeah, these are the books we should pick." And then, of course, Savage Wars got in there for best military science fiction. If this is your pick, you can request a ballot. They'll send you a ballot for the complete voting. I don't know, JR, can you only vote in just that category that you want to vote in?
You can vote one in all 15 categories, but the nominations have been closed, so now it's the final ballot. So you have of 4 choices in each category.
Right.
And they were nominated for best military science fiction or fantasy novel.
So we choose David Weber, right?
He didn't even make the ballot.
You want to get hit.
Walt, I just want you to know Heinlein doesn't measure up to Galaxy's Edge. You got it backwards.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's not 4 stuffy dudes in a room going, "It didn't measure up to Heinlein."
Just in the comment section or whatever, if that's something you can do. Like every book except for the one that JR wrote. That one. Don't forget about that one.
Oh,
I'm from the state Heinlein's from, man.
Hanley, didn't Ken Foster say he wasn't going to be able to catch the show or something like that?
He did.
Oh, all right. Well, this is for him. Until I get that nice tankard.
So there has been a little bit of
discussion about
Daniel's drinking habits. They are not convinced that he hasn't spiked that tea, by the way. But in yesterday's live show where we talked about all things dragon related, which is on the YouTube channels if you want to go check it out and you missed it, or the Facebook fan club, it was suggested that maybe he should drink it out of a cup like a civilized human being.
Why would you want to do that? He doesn't have time for that.
If JR, if you really wanted to be polite to our good friend Daniel and have him drink out of the socially acceptable, politically appropriate item out of his iced tea, you should do for him what you did for me, right? And get him the correct.
That is the way.
Right.
That is the way.
Oh, I thought you were gonna flash up the Galaxy's Edge mug that JR was too slow to get because
I went to buy it. They're like out of order.
What we need is that mug, except make it like a donkey head, because
drinking out of the donk skull,
or a cube would work.
Yep. Cube skull too.
So,
I have a little bit more respect for the cubes after season 2, but
big die.
Yeah.
So, have you actually christened that mug?
In what way? I put coffee in
a beverage of some sort.
Yes.
I know you don't drink.
Yeah. I put.
Needs more for me.
I got to tell you though, it was a little difficult with the coffee at first, because it was like I'm sitting there looking at a screen. At one point, I had to turn sideways because it's blocking my vision. And then at one point, I was answering somebody in the other room, and it started echoing back, and I'm like, "What the hell?"
You want an awkward cup? I'll give you one.
I'm sure your HR department loves it when you bring that one to work.
What's that? The skull?
Yeah.
No, I have a Viking horn I can bring in. That's fine. But going into before we go into what do we have?
I personally own. It's a Halo plasma grenade mug I got from a loot crate. And you want to talk about awkward? That rim is so hard to drink out of. As soon as you try to drink it, your nose is immediately getting cut off your face.
That's crazy. No, see, this is why you don't make drinkable items out of a plasma grenade. It's just ridiculous.
I want to do one more thing.
Yeah, hit me.
Bubba, you need to talk about your profile picture.
Oh, you mean the grand uplifted mech?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hit us.
Share about it. And then Badger can show us the big picture.
Well, there's two models. That my pick is my model. We have the basic model, which is in a desert dust color. So at the beginning of right here, in the Discord, right after the first Savage Wars came out, a channel was opened up for the Uplifted, and the first 7 of us that got into it all created our characters. Well, I went full on Savage. I went mech body, brain in a jar, all that, and I wanted to be the pilot of our light hugger, and this was the mech design that I got made through, oh god, I forgot the name, Fiverr, I think that's the name of it. And this is my color scheme rendition. There's a few issues I have with it, but I've already told the guy that it's all good and I can't really fix it. And the other one is this is my model. The other one, well, if you can pull that up whenever you can.
Oh yeah, I'm working it.
I know. I'm giving you time.
No, don't give me time. You got to harass me. Tell me to do push-ups. Make me feel at home.
Beat your face!
Beat your face!
There you go.
The other model.
Push-ups?
What's that?
Can you even do push-ups with
me?
with your broke ass ankle?
I have another ankle. I can just do them one-legged.
Oh, whoa, guys, we got a badass over here.
It's gonna be a beast. This is just the generic model that the rest of the Light Huggers crew would use. And as a reminder that we come from Earth, I specifically requested for the U.S. roundel to be put onto the right shoulder pauldron of the mech. And some of the biggest aspect that I personally love is that the gun on the shoulder is a 120 millimeter smooth bore cannon. I don't remember where I put all this stuff about it because we had a whole background story and I got to touch up on my part of it.
Looks like an AA gun.
No, it could look like an AA gun, but it also kind of reminds me of like remember the Army.
I remember the Army quite well, actually.
Iron Man.
So do I.
Iron Man 2, the Army drones that Hammer Industries made to try to combat the Iron Man mech suit.
Yeah, the one that broke the guy's back. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it basically kind of reminds me of those drones at the end of the movie whenever they plant down to fire the 20 millimeters off their shoulders.
Right on. Honestly, what it reminds me the most of is Planet Side 2. Like, having played that game as much as I did.
Well, the concepts that I asked the artist to combine were that of Titanfall, the Atlas Titanfall mech, and the and a Gundam. And
I was gonna say the mech kind of reminds me of my brother. I got nowhere to go from there.
And so this is what was created. And again, like I said, I am happy with it.
It looks pretty cool, and I think you guys did great. And it's nice to see more GE fan content. And who knows?
I'm not artistic at all. I am creative, but when it comes to like actually artsy stuff, I'm not good. I was able to freehand sketch in 1911 once in high school because I was bored, but that was it.
Yeah.
I can create concepts in my mind and then trying to explain it to someone to try and use it, I just break down and can't do anything about it.
So I have an idea right now. It's called a blunt force segue.
I love those.
Hey, Bubba. If you were in your mech right now as a savage and you were on the ground, a crazy thing, and an airplane was flying over, would you be able to shoot it down?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Featherhead stuff and about how Featherheads dealt with savages and stuff like that, and how they shot them down and stuff like that. Yeah, like the Baron.
The Baron. Oh, you know,
the Lucky Baron.
it's crazy because it was like, when we saw that as insiders in the beta, it was like, hey, look, Daniel's immortalized. He's the Bloody Baron. And then like 2 chapters later, I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, I remember hearing that, and it's like, yeah, so we're gonna give you a different character. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, no worries.
Yeah, just tell
Don't
him.
worry,
Say,
I got you. You're in the reservist too as a janitor. It's okay.
Nice.
That's
At least
better
I'm
than
not a communist, right?
See, I think when I first joined, I asked a couple of times, and I still don't know, and it's kind of whatever at this point. But I'm like, so are they going to use like our names or our call signs?
Yeah, they'll use your
all that.
name if I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Except for you.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't get my name. I got a
Puncher.
I got a puncher.
And your dog.
And my dog. He's
So you
such
got a
a
twofer.
and you just sit there and you just like, you think you're gonna be like the life of the party, and somebody's going to be like, hey, it's a good thing Puncher's here. But no, nobody cares about Puncher. They only care about Balder.
Yeah.
Freaking tree climbing, dog humping. He's he is a force of nature, and you sit there and you're like, in the book, he's not only a force of nature, he's also Puncher's conscience, and the thing that keeps him going, but when you meet him in real life, it's like meeting an actor in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Now he struts around, when all the other, like the neighborhood dogs look at him and go, oh my God, he's so sexy. He just struts like he owns the place. It's just really crazy.
Oh my God, there's Balder.
Yeah, that's except for that one. I don't really want to say this publicly, but I think my dog is racist.
Oh no.
So
Please do.
So every time he shows up and sees this other dog from the neighborhood who's like all white except for a black spot on his butt, my dog goes absolutely homicidal. And he's just like, okay, I don't care what I have to climb, kill, or bury. That dog needs to die now. And you're just like, dude, just relax. Sniff each other's butts. Do what dogs do. But nope. He gets into one book, and now he thinks he's a rock star. So, what are some of your favorite Featherheads from the books?
Baron is one of my favorites.
Especially since it was you for a minute.
Not necessarily because of that, but I just thought that's how I pictured, how fighter pilots typically are, and
right
cool, collected, and just focusing on eliminating targets and keeping their wingmen alive as best they can,
Baron
he was a boss.
He was cool. I like he ranks up there high because you're flying in a plane that has no rebuild support at all. You're using armaments that don't fit your aircraft all that well, and all this, and just downing so many in the entire engagement. But then I look at like Dax Dans later on, and he was the ace of their destroyer that they were on, and I was just like, he's pretty cool too, because he's calm, collective, and like, oh crap, we got to get this guy too.
I got to tell you though, the coolest pilot, I thought the two coolest pilots were Autumna Fall from Attack Shadows and Kat from the just constantly chasing the ghost of her brother. Just the two opposing views from those are just. Did you really say Maverick? Don't make it. This is why we can't have nice things.
We don't buzz the tower here.
Did anybody play Ace Combat 7?
Yes.
No.
So Kat Halliday's kind of reminds me of Scream and her brother. If you played the DLC mission.
I've not gotten that one. No, I didn't know there was a DLC mission.
Yeah, they've got like 3 DLC missions that maybe 4, but she has the same just craziness of I gotta kill all these people and stuff like that, and it's like I have to avenge my brother kind of thing. But yeah.
See, I would joke about like women pilots, but then there's some people I was in RTC with who like became officers and pilots, and at least in one case, she flies Raptors now, so can't talk shit about that.
F-22, yeah, those things are sick. I really enjoyed
Navy.
No, don't get weird. I really enjoyed Autumnal Fall just because of the fact that, she was very cocky, very whatever. But the second she got behind that fighter, it was all business.
Yeah, and she proved it too.
Yeah. I mean, even like, just if you haven't read, spoiler alert, right? If you have not read Attack of Shadows, make sure you go out right now and just take 30 seconds so I can get what I got to say off my chest, right? But like even at the end of Attack of Shadows, when she disappears into the depths, it's just like she's plotting something. You're gonna see her again at some point, even if it might not be in season 1. So yeah, that was cool. But like Cat Hallidays was another one. Just somebody just so haunted by someone that they lost that they're willing to kill an entire fleet of people just to chase that ghost with every trigger pull. That was tight. Yeah. What'd you guys think?
I mean, like I was saying before, I was a fan of it.
I personally enjoy her rivalry between Vampa and Cat.
Yeah, I was probably a fan of it, but it's been so long since I went through season 1.
And we all know that J.R. Handley secretly has a celebrity crush for the assumed Admiral Vampa.
She will be Admiral. She will be the co-emperor. It has been decided.
And he just wants feet pics. That's all.
What is it with you whippersnappers, you millennials, and your feet pics? Okay, you're not actually a millennial, but
this is how you trigger JR. You just start talking about feet pics.
Like I'm like, after everything that happened in Forget Nothing, I'm like, can we get just a pinup scene rolling again, please?
You don't spend that long in the infantry and think feet are sexy. I'm sorry, no.
No, especially when you're constantly telling all your troopers,
change your socks. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's just so much good. Or how about the pilot in Tin Man?
Oh yeah. Unsung hero right there.
Just wave after wave of pickup after pickup. And let's not forget my favorite pilot.
Did they ever say who the Reese was inspired by? Because it sort of reminded me of that the character Too Tall in We Were Soldiers, which is based on an actual pilot that did all the medevac runs on. I can't remember which one, but they both of them. They both kept coming back for the wounded, and it sort of had that vibe to it.
Well, I mean, like the vibe I got for all of what happened on Sidon was Vietnam. That was the whole vibe I got with Sidon.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was by design.
Yeah, and even the slicks and all that stuff. But I think you're talking about the nickname Kettles. I think his name was Lieutenant Colonel Charles Kettles. There you go.
Yeah,
that's the guy who kept going back. Yeah. Who he was ordered by his CO, like, all right, we're all getting out of here, let's go. And he was like, and he just grabbed the stick, grabbed the yoke, and kept going back and going for broke. I mean, that dude's hardcore. I mean, when you have to when you risk your own career because you're going to save people's lives, I mean, that's hardcore, and to have that in that book, where he's going back again and again. But I mean, the hero of the story obviously is the name of the story, namesake of the story, but at the same time, seriously, that pilot was crazy.
Oh yeah. You know who else is a crazy pilot? Carmen Ibanez.
Oh yeah, yes.
No.
Oh my god.
If you're comparing her from the movie to the book, movie,
No, the movie. Yeah. Yeah, the movie. Yeah, that movie was a fun popcorn flick for a Saturday when there was nothing else to do.
It is a fun sci-fi shooter movie. It is nothing to do with the book.
Yeah.
The only thing that I enjoyed that they changed from the book was they changed Dizzy to a girl, and she survived for so long.
Right.
And Dizzy is bae, by the way. Just got to drop that because
10 more minutes, man. 10 more minutes.
But yeah, but you had those. You had some in once again in Attack of Shadows. You had those bomber pilots from the Black Fleet just trying to hammer it down. And if it wasn't for Thales being the officer that he is, those
he needs his own story.
Move. I want stories on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
His
and at the
ballsy move, man.
I mean, but if you think about it, right, when you first meet Thales, right, he even says it himself. He's like, I'm nobody special. If I had just had the $1 million Hollywood smile, half the gut I have, if my hair had held on for 5 minutes longer, I might have made rank. But because I'm short and I'm stocky and I'm balding and I don't look like what they think an officer should look like, I'm stuck here. But at the end of the day,
my spirit animal. He's my spirit animal.
Right?
He's me.
At the end of the day, he was in the right place at the right time, because if it wasn't for him, Omicron would have fell like heavy and hard and a lot quicker than it did, and the only reason it really went down the way it did is because of the Man in Black. But I got to tell you, when I was reading for the first time Attack of Shadows, and then about a year later, Disney released the plans for the TIE Defender, and it was featured in the Star Wars Rebels TV show. I was like, oh my God, they ripped off Jason and Nick. Because Jason and Nick had a tri-fighter, and the way they described it in the book, it's like, wait, did Star Wars just rip off Galaxy's Edge? This is bullshit.
What? They would never have done that.
Never, like even with a name or anything.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they thought up the name just happenstance around the same time that Legionnaire was released.
Parallel development.
It just happens,
But the Tri-Fighters were very, very cool. What do you guys think about the fact that the majority of the Tri-Fighters on those initial waves were using slug cannons?
I thought that was...
I dug it.
Right?
Well, I mean, everyone is prepared to have... I mean, like, they've stated this several times in books before. Everyone has armor that stops energy-based weapons, not projectiles.
Yep.
So you have defenses set up to deplete energy over a surface, and a projectile goes straight through and leaves a hole. You got a better situation going on for you.
Hell yeah. I could just imagine like that scene in RoboCop where, everybody's in the firing range, and then all of a sudden, one by one, they stop and have to kind of like back up and figure out what's going on, because this dude is firing like high caliber, heavy kinetic on burst, where everybody, all these other cops are just like bang, bang, bang.
Around burst 50 cal.
I could just picture some of these fighters engaging, and then all of a sudden, barrel flashes start coming out, and bullets are perforating, and people are freaking out because their shields aren't doing crap.
Sci-fi is one thing, and I just kind of let it slide, but the physics lover in me is like slug thrower in space, fighter, what?
Yeah.
Recoil and everything with zero grav. But again, rule of cool sci-fi.
Well, you could actually hand wave that away pretty easily with, if you're firing the guns, it already has software to accelerate, to deal with it. I mean, doesn't the A10 essentially have to do that when they fire the GAU 8? It's just like, okay, hammer down and then fire.
It slows it down enough to where it almost stalls sometimes, and that's in atmosphere.
Yeah, but I mean, you would think that they would have systems in place in order to play with it, so that it would so that those weapons would work in an atmosphere.
What is it? Battlestar, they used projectile-based weapons on the Viper.
Or even the Expanse. The Expanse has railguns mounted on ships.
True.
Yeah, and I mean, Battlestar, from all other sci-fis that I can depict from right now in my mind, because I'm breaking, they actually utilized four-dimensional space like that in combat.
Yeah.
You would see, Starbuck flip around, take out the Cylon on her 6, then flip around and go for the next one that was coming across her path.
Yeah, there is this is like potential.
Of course, we gotta have a good old bird.
This is like if you all are into the more recent.
Are you gonna be okay there, JR?
Like the more recent Star Trek stuff. Like this is potential spoiler stuff, but in Picard, like when you first meet 7 of 9.
Mm-hmm.
She's flying a fighter.
Yeah,
I dig that.
Like, and it's just like everyone on the other ships is just like, who the heck is that pilot?
Yeah.
And obviously it's 7 of 9 because 7 of 9.
So, as a side note, kids and gentlemen and ladies, this is a reason why JR has his Bitmoji, because when he sees a warthog, it puts him at the edge,
I'll be in my bunk.
We try not to judge.
My brother-in-law loves those planes, man.
So I feel like I almost have to mention it just because I saw it in the doc and JR just kind of decided to skip over it because I don't know, JR.
Ooh, JR not following a script.
Shots fired.
But I saw the TV thing and I'm like, because I'm huge into cinema and all that. I'm like, oh yes, let's get into that.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, hold on.
All right.
Well, it's your call. I know that we have a month long kind of wait before we do public stuff, but I'll let you make the call on this if you want to.
Well, the thing is with the TV script, right? There's 2 TV scripts that are out there right now. Well, 2 scripts that are out there right now. Oh. So you got the Wraith script, which is for the which insiders have already received, and it's a full cast audio drama, kind of like Sandman is right now. And it's full cast audio drama of the story of what happened when Wraith was assigned to the Edge as an undercover operative.
I don't think I've seen that one, but I saw the one that's Battle of Kublar.
Right, and that script is really, really cool, especially if you have read the first series, right? Uh-huh. Because what it does is it combines several elements of 2 different books and puts them together in one episode so that you get a more in the books it worked really well to separate those 2 elements because it became a callback. It's like when you see the second half of that story, you're like, that's how that happened. Holy crap.
But
to put that in that one episode, man, that's brilliant.
Yeah, literature versus
it's a medium. Yeah. It's a medium differential kind of thing. When it's in paper, you have to have that gap there in order to come back to it later on, like you said, with a callback to where whenever it's presented in a theatrical sense, you're able to play off that a lot easier.
Yeah, especially stuff with Wraith. Like, there's a ton of opportunity to go back and forth.
Yeah, hell yeah, and the episode that for the script that's out there, and they've talked about this a little bit on the public podcast that they did. So what Nick and Jason have been really trying to do is for insiders and sometimes for public, depending on how the release is, they've been doing like a Zoom meeting where you can go in and ask them questions and stuff like that, and they're kind of getting like a one-on-one with the fans. And what they were doing is during the Forget Nothing, when Forget Nothing was released wide on Audible as an Audible original, they talked about the script a little bit, and obviously everything's on hold right now because of COVID-19 and the way that Hollywood production is working. stuff within the United States is very difficult and very expensive right now to produce because of the way that the restrictions are. So there's a lot that goes into something like that. So unless you're animating, and even if you were animating, instead of working out of the same office, you got to work virtually now, which kind of slows things down a little bit. So, but yeah, that script is just tight, super, super tight.
Yeah, it brought me back to that. Like, I already had a rough visual in my head because that's just one thing I've always been good at, like visualizing words or whatever. But I know.
Oh my god, you are a monster.
But no, like seeing that there, and I'm like, okay, this is like perfect. Plus, like I said earlier, it like going or listening to the books for the first time, I was like, what? I got this book because I thought it was military sci-fi, so it took me back to that military sci-fi. I'm like, okay, this is great.
I read through the whole script like as soon as I got it, and
yeah, same.
The alterations that they made to it, there are like some that I'm like, okay, I can see that, and then others I'm like, oh yeah, fully understand why they make this change. So understand it, not a problem.
Yeah, right on.
I'm pretty sure you might understand which change I'm talking about on some of them.
Now, you guys, have you seen the cover art that they did to go along with that script?
No, I think I have it.
Oh, so good! It's on the insider page. So if
you're an insider, you can go look that up.
I don't look that up.
I don't even know if I'm on the insider Facebook thing.
Yeah. Some people who don't Facebook, they get like their alerts and stuff like that through the YouTube channel or through the Insider Galactic Edge. What do you call it? Newsletter.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. You also get a discount when you shop at www.galaxysedge.us.
That did not happen.
And if you are a server booster for the Galaxy Edge Discord server, the OBA Cafe, every server booster gets access to a $5 off monthly code that changes for every monthly boost.
But wait, there's more. Tell them what you want,
I'm just waiting for someone to like mute JR in the middle of his spiel.
Walt has that power. None of us do.
I do have that power. I won't do it though because he was nice and he sent my wife tea.
Was it a 1 gallon jug that said
1 gallon jug?
What kind of heresy are you spitting out?
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
Where's the mute button?
So as we round out the bottom of the show, what are some final thoughts going out? Daniel?
I mean, as always, I am excited for more Featherhead trash. I'm a fan of that stuff. So I look forward to whenever we see that pop up. Honestly, I really want to see a little bit more Dark Operator. I know that we got Rebellion and
No Fail.
No Fail. They're going to be hitting the Audible recording next month, I think, something like that. And I kind of been waiting for season 2 for a hot minute, Yeah, we got Takeover. What was it, back in January, something like that?
It was before that. Insiders had it last year. Yeah,
it was like December.
Well, I meant when it released for Audible.
Oh, yeah,
right. January. Yeah, that was January.
Yeah. And so it's been like, what, 8 months? And I'm just like, I kind of want the next part now.
Yeah, but we had Savage Wars to hold us over.
True.
Savage Wars was good.
By the way,
Savage Wars was good. But you know something? All you got to do is get them that, trophy. And, your Savage Wars 4 could be a reality if you vote for it.
This feels like they're bribing.
They are bribing us.
That's
they're
what
smart.
It is. It's bribery.
I'm just waiting to I'm
creative inducement,
just in case, but waiting to hear more about the last few characters revealed, so to speak, and at the end of this season 2, at the end of the takeover. I'm just waiting to hear more.
Yeah. That's such a cliffhanger that everyone's like, "Give me it."
Yeah. Hell yeah! I just like the cameo from season 1.
Oh yeah, that was a good
at the end of Takeover. That was fantastic. But I got to tell you, nothing scarier than Kublarans with half phase induced future AK-47s. You know,
that was a fantastic
I was
idea.
imagining like an M4, to be honest.
I mean, wouldn't you do the same in your position, Walt?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you don't give frogmen the most advanced weapon you can make. You give that to the guys who can kill the frogmen.
Yeah,
and then you give the old weapons to the frogmen.
Exactly. One of the frogmen had a damn N1. Okay.
So the last time I was just to give you some insight into kind of like the truth of this, and JR will back me up on this because we were in some of the same areas together, not together, but we were in some of the same areas. So there is nothing more heartbreaking than seeing a bunch of local indigenous forces, and then you say, "All right, guys, we're going to cover security for you for the next couple. You guys go ahead and clean weapons." And the first thing they do is drop a metal bucket, load it with diesel fuel, and start cleaning their weapons with diesel fuel.
Yeah.
And we're like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, it's clean now." No, it's flammable now. What are you doing? You know? And you're like, "Look, this is no."
I didn't realize that was a thing.
Oh, it's a thing, you know, or you're sitting there and you know, you got a guy who you're trying to show how to fire an AK-47, and they're just like, they go and put a stock under their shoulder, and you're like, no, on the shoulder. Okay, then it goes above the shoulder, and you're like, no, listen, it's gonna fly backwards and hit your CO. It's not gonna work for you. So
you asked if I was old enough to own a weapon.
Oh, that's yours?
That is mine.
I would show you a bunch of mine, man, but they fell in a lake.
Yours too? Tragic.
Yep.
See, I like the diesel fuel reminds me of this thing I saw. It might have been on the Galaxy's Edge Discord or on the Facebook group. I don't know, but it was basically this dude out of that gas station cleaning off the parking lot using fuel from the pump and a mop. It's that'll go over well for you.
Well, I mean, it's clean, right? You just one match, and it's all. There's nothing can. What's that? I don't understand.
What was it? There was this top 10s on the military channel I watched one time, and they were talking about the top 10 best rifles, and the AK I think ranks number 1 in the end.
They're wrong. It should be the Mosin Nagant. Just saying. And one of the professional military weapon historians, you can't see my quotes around that, talked about how there was this one guy who took a bootlace and dipped it in motor oil, ran it through the barrel, and he was done to clean his weapon. Hey, you gotta lube the barrel or the bore, right? So that way it doesn't rust.
And I'm just like, man, I bet the first time they fired that thing, there was like a 12-foot flame.
A motor oil? No, not necessarily.
Yeah, I think it'd be more so with
it would
kerosene,
just blow
right?
out the front. Yeah, kerosene or something like that. I just like the fact that you got the guys over at Red Jacket Firearms, and they would just throw it in the mud, hit it with a shovel, run it over with a truck, and then fire it, and it'd still work. I mean, that's kind of neat.
My new favorite thing is these bore snakes.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's just I was reading that if you just lube it up and add some solvent, and then after you're done firing, you just run it through a couple times. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're never gonna go wrong with a really solid bore brush or something like that, But seriously, just get those snakes are fantastic because it just cuts down your cleaning time by a whole bunch.
Yeah, and you don't have to break down the rifle or the pistol all the way and spend so much time. It's just okay, bop bop, and then 1, 2, 3. Yep, it looks good to me.
And you know what I'd like to see in a Galaxy's Edge book though is the armorer. The Galaxy's Edge armorer. Because I'd have guys come back from the armory cage and been like, dude, Sarge kicked me back again, and it's well, because your rifle isn't clean. And he's like, did he kick you back? I said, no, I got it on the first try. He's like, well, I cleaned my rifle, Sergeant. It's like, no, you didn't. Give it to me. And then I would take out I had a set of My Little Pony, what do you call it? Dental picks.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the first thing everybody always used to ask was, why? And I said, all right, well, listen, first of all, when you see me do what you see me do next, you're going to want a set of these picks. Now, so that you're not going to steal mine, and I knew who has my picks. Nobody else has enough testosterone in this room to survive buying these My Little Pony dental picks. So I know they're mine.
Identifier, yeah.
I said, so secondly, I said, take the pick, and then you run it right through the bore. And I came out with carbon that looked like it entered the bore sometime during the fucking Hyborian age. And I'm like, you're calling this clean? And he's like, well, I don't have one of those picks. And I'm like, you can borrow mine. If you steal it, I'll know, because you'll be running around here being made fun of. So, and then, I'll bury you in mud and hit you with a shovel. As a quick nod to our fine Featherhead friends of the Republic Navy and Air Corps, tomorrow we are having one of the last play tests before we go into final production for the Galaxy's Edge role-playing game. That is at 3:30 EST. Yep. So, and Daniel obviously is going to be out for that. JR, I believe you're jumping in as well.
Out freaking standing. It's the only way.
Yeah, it is the only way. So that is going to be there's a little surprise to that game. You guys will see. After this last session, we pretty much we will have all the data that we need to go into the next phase, and that's actually starting some of the assembly and putting a regular document together. We're working with several 3D artists right now to produce a line of miniatures. Then we're going to go into fabrication. We're talking to a fabricator now. The worst part of it was like getting packaging for it, and like you're sitting there and you're something you never even think of, like who's the dude that has to like run out and get like Sharpie packaging? Who cares what that looks like? Because you're just going to rip it apart anyway. But then when it's your product, you're like, well, I care what it looks like on the outside. Gotta
get a good graphic artist for that.
Yeah, well, not only a good graphic artist, but also, you want quality cardboard that's not going to look like crap when it gets to the person who ordered it. Strong, sturdy plastic so that the miniatures get there intact. You know what I mean? So, plus you
can't poke their fingers.
Yeah, you worry about all this little stuff you wouldn't have even thought of before, and you're like, I just want the box so I can rip it open, And instead, now you're agonizing over this stuff, and it's like, is that too yellow? I feel it's too yellow. Do you think it's too yellow? And at the end of the day, you're just like, oh my god, I turned into freaking Betty Crocker. This sucks. What's that?
This may be a bit of a stupid question, but I just have to know.
Sure.
Which is more KTF, the Galaxy's Edge tabletop or only War?
Which is more KTF?
But yeah, basically only War. The stuff that sets it apart is its quote difficulty. Like people have to make like 5 or 6 characters for one session supposedly, because it's like, by the way, a piece of space junk surrounding the planet that's like a center, like the size or like a millimeter in thickness hits your drop pod, so you're dead.
All right, so think about it this way: what do you want? Do you want the game that produces Galaxy's Edge on your table, or do you want to play somebody else's game and pretend it's Galaxy's Edge?
I like the one where it produces GE on the table, because I don't know about you guys, and if you haven't yet, you should go to the Galaxy's Edge YouTube page and watch some of our previous play sessions where we were testing the rules.
Like, follow, and subscribe, because we're 225 away from getting our.
And he didn't meet him. This is like the one chance.
Well, but I can personally feel your pain.
But I would like to point out that Walt has been the best game master I've ever played with, because he actually does make the session fun and make it cinematic, and more data than just, oh, you shot him and dealt this many points of damage, he's still up, or stuff like that. He actually says, you shot the guy that was doing pot shots at you from across from the truck bed of the vehicle in front of you, and you blew his head off, and then shot the guy in the seat behind him and pushed him up against the driver and made him veer off a little bit. And it's
man, give me a Sniper Elite narration from 5 miles out, or
oh look, there it is.
But yeah, have you seen Sniper Elite gameplay?
Yeah, I've seen that, and that's basically what Walt does. He will do that much detail. He'll give you the nut shot cam for the bullet as it enters the right testicle of the Nazi that you're shooting.
So, well,
I have never
seen
that,
right?
But I can say unequivocally that Walt is still cooler.
You've seen Sniper Elite, right?
The video game.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sort of stuff. I'm I would suck at the game itself, but I almost want to play it just for the visuals, on killing someone.
Yeah. Instead, you should try the army. Try the army. You'll get a whole new appreciation for what it is to be a sniper.
Yeah.
But honestly, he does a great job, and the rule set that we've been using has been a lot of fun. So I look forward to playing more of that.
Right on. Yeah, that was a good time. That was both those sessions were a good time. So basically, if you haven't watched these episodes yet, it's the people you see on screen right now. So it was me, Tony, JR, Nick, Cole, one of the co-emperors, and Swordfish for the first session, and they are at a kill team. In the second session, they play a Nether Ops team who is on the backside of that first mission. So they are doing things behind the scenes that make the first mission possible. And then this will be the last kind of viewpoint of the of that first mission, where you're going to get, whereas the kill team was an upfront view, the Nether Ops team was a behind the scenes view, and then this time with the Featherheads, you're going to get a top-down view, and kind of bring everything together, show you what you can do with the rules, and you guys should have a lot of fun. So that being said, I got to put some more miniatures together for tomorrow, and then set up some play sets. I just want to thank everybody for coming out, sharing this evening with us, so that we can talk a little bit about our favorite property, Galaxy's Edge. You can find us at www.galaxiesedge.us. You can catch us on Discord. What's it's the permanent link for that?
Galaxy's Edge, or Galaxies-Edge. And then just follow, or it preceded by the discord.gg /, but don't forget to say, we got our insider show next Friday, then public show after that. Are we going to be doing a playtesting thing starting the second week of or the second Fridays of the month?
Yeah, we can do that. And what we can do is, when we're doing that playtest, we're going to go for the first couple of sessions. It's going to be more dealing with the miniatures aspect. Okay. So we're going to test out those rules in specific, because they're already a part of the Galaxy's Edge rule set. They just, we're just going to take them down to the bones. It's going to be more like a board game, so we can shoot the crap, talk about Galaxy's Edge, and then kill some HK PP mechs. So that being the case, yep.
Before we bounce, just remember, go to the YouTube channel for Galaxy's Edge, click like for the videos, subscribe and follow We are 225 likes away from the 1,000 mark where YouTube will give us a dedicated URL, and I believe they will let Walt monetize so he can buy a cup of coffee to keep him caffeinated for all this awesomeness he's giving us.
And then he'll pour that coffee into his Galaxy's Edge mandated cup that
That's too soon.
JR doesn't have.
Too soon. All right, too soon.
Yeah,
They need to make tumblers, man.
They need to make tumblers.
Yeah, tumblers or some thermal mugs.
I need a thermal mug. All the good ones, you get the logos on them and they scrape right off.
Yeah, I mean, I need a drinking container as well.
See, that's the heresy you were talking about earlier, right
I'm
there.
one of those weird people who prefers like cold brew instead of hot coffee. So,
all right. On that note, let's end this.
I try not to judge. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us on the Galaxy's Edge podcast, and we'll catch you next time. So keep your head in a swivel.